Welcome to SoCal Sports Report 97th. Yikes. Live podcast. I'm your host, John Stellman. Joining me tonight, John Adams, Jake Formansky, and we are loaded. We're going to start off with
information.
A lot of opinions tonight. Start off with USC, but I'm going to break this into two segments. I want to talk initially about Clay Helton and the coaching situation, and then after we get that solved, we'll break down the record-setting performance by Kelvin Slovis. So let's start off with the coaching situation. John, you had said from the outset that they had to clean house regardless. You still feel that way?
I do, but I know that there's some financial decisions I think they're going to have to make that I don't think, now that I look at it, is going to be the direction I think they're going to go. I mean, the buyouts, he has a contract through 2023, and the buyout's like $20 million. And I just think that because of the way it's finished, and you have new people on board, it just sounds like they don't want to make a quick decision on this. So I actually think it's going to be. I think they're going to hold off until one more year before they make this decision. But I just think it's too big of a financial decision, unless
a couple of alumni could throw that money down.
Well, I know, but unless that a big time coach comes their way that they know that can make a big decision right off the bat. But again, some of the issues are, he doesn't have a very good recruiting class coming in because a lot of kids don't know what the heck's going on, right? So that's not helping them.
Not one California kid going to USC.
Right, and it's very weak. And then you have a signing day is, I think, the 12th of December, right?
Early signing period.
So it's just, I just think, I think their biggest problem is backup quarterback situation because, you're going to lose JT Daniels to a portal, right? But, I don't know. I saw these things. He's 21-6 when he got the extension to 2023. But we're looking at a buyout clause of around $15 to $20 million. And I just think the new AD is just kind of feeling it out and kind of seeing how it's going to go. I mean, I don't think they're going to get in the Pac-12 championship. And so that's it. But, I mean, I don't know what kind of bowl game they're going to get.
Probably Vegas Bowl or something like that.
Something or they're going to, And and if he wins that, what does it look like? But, I just don't see anything being a impulse reaction decision. I think they still need to clean some things up behind the scenes, and I think they're going to give them one. I mean, they have until 2023. I think the one thing that is that if you're looking at a coach that needs to be really kind of maybe a decision had to be is maybe Pendergrass, which is the defense coordinator, because he's given up a lot of points just recently. So I don't know. That's just my take. I was thinking like they're going to come in here and clean house, but then when they kind of broke the numbers down, I just think it's too much money to give to them. Right off the bat, and he's actually been winning with this kid.
I kind of think he deserves another year. He's a player's coach. The kids love him. He's like you say, he's squeaky clean, which administration loves. And when the new AD came in and said just finish strong, so he went 3-0 for the new AD. And after that lost to Notre Dame, which was a winnable game, they won 5 out of the last 6.
I think he's a hell of a coach. I'd keep him if I'm USC, just from a Notre Dame fan. I think he's great. I think everything he's doing. No, but I think breaking down the numbers, like John said, and especially going 8-4, turning a quick turnaround. I think, and now that there's rumors about Urban Meyer and now the Dallas Cowboys and stuff like that, I don't know. I think Helton's coming back.
I don't think. I think the Meyer thing is going to go away. I don't think he's your guy. I don't think if I'm his wife, I'm like, you're not healthy. You're not 100% healthy.
She wants him around for a couple more years.
Right, exactly. And I just don't think it's a high stressful position, and I don't think his health is the right thing. I don't think Meyer should be. But I've heard good things about possibly the Penn State coach
Franklin.
coming on. Yeah. Coming on over. I mean, I know that I've been hearing those kind of things, but You know, in my mind, you know, I think this gives, you know, the AD and the president a good year to try to find somebody, because, you know, I think it's probably a top 15 job in the United States. It's not the top 15 team in the United States, but it, you know, it could be, you know. You know, and then the other thing is, you know, do you set them up to fail, right? I mean, Pittman's gone, you know, JT Daniels is gone, Fink has graduated. Your backup quarterback is a kid from La Jolla High School that walked on this year. And, you know, what do I have coming back, right? Because obviously you don't have too much coming in, right? So, you know, are you going to lose a couple of the receivers? You know, Slovis will make them better. So, I mean, if you don't feel like you're ready for the, you know, for the NFL, then, you know, he's accurate enough to make you better. But they're going to have to get some receivers in there and more D linemen and O linemen and
better.
They always get the running backs and the wide receivers.
Right.
So I think they're fine there. So I don't know. I think they're going to, like you said, give them one more year and just kind of see what happens there.
If you're a coach on the outside, I mean, how excited would you be to go to a program that just fired a coach who was 8-4? I mean, I'd think twice about doing that in the first place. I mean, you know, and he, you know, he still could win the Pac South, but they won't. But still 7-2. You know, and
who would they have to beat to get into the championship?
Well, they're done.
Oh, they're done.
Utah's got to win their last game. Colorado at home.
That's right. Okay.
They got Colorado at home. Utah.
Yeah. They're going to have Oregon. Against Utah in the Pac.
Okay.
In the championship.
Yeah.
I mean, Oregon lost that game, but you know, I still think they had a couple games on the rest of the field, right?
Yeah.
So.
I hated to see that. That blew the Pac-12's chances of even making a
Well,
splash.
I think Utah's got a good. I mean, if Utah wins out,
Utah's
I
at
think
6
they have
right now.
But again, you know, I think we're going to talk about it's East Coast biased. I mean,
it is.
Yeah,
they don't care. I mean, that team's got to be undefeated.
Well, you know that Alabama's going to be sitting fifth until the final poll.
Oh yeah,
and they'll that one year they screwed Cal. I forgot who it was. Cal was fourth. You know, in the last final week of the season, Texas A&M or Texas.
It was Texas.
Texas, yeah, slipped in ahead of them.
That was BCS days, yeah.
Yeah. So you know, I mean, we'll see. But no, I think, like you say, other than the fact that you know he's not a recruiter. I mean, the kids love him and they play hard for him, and you know I think he deserves a chance. But I don't know how it's going to sit with the alumni who want to win, and winning 8 out of 12 is not good enough. They want national championship.
Yeah.
You know, they want
they want that or the Rose Bowl, right?
Exactly.
One of the two.
Exactly.
It blows my mind real quick just how not one kid from California is going to USC.
That's almost unbelievable.
Well, and the guy from Oregon's getting them all, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And you look at UCLA, and they've got 85 freshmen and sophomores.
Sophomores, yeah.
I mean, you know, that's a whole other story, but. Yeah, I where these kids go. Well, the top 2 kids are from California. They're going to Clemson and Alabama.
Yep.
Right. So, you know, the SEC has really made a statement, and so is TV with those teams in the SEC that they're going to get more. They're going to get noticed more nationally if they go east.
Exactly.
You know, and you know, I blame a little of that on the networks, right? You know, but again, the SEC is a religion. You know, it is. You know. So, and they have screamed that that's the best football. So if you're one of the top quarterbacks or linemen or football players in Southern California, you want to play against the best. That's where they're saying you need to go.
Definitely get more exposure at Alabama, Clemson than you're going to get when the games start at 10:30 in the East out here. Mm-hmm. Nobody sees you. That being said, let's get to the game. Slovis was just. I don't even know where to start with his all that he accomplished. I mean, the first quarterback in USC history to throw for 500 yards in a game. You look at all the quarterbacks they've had there, and holy smokes! Starting at Donald, Leinart, Matt,
Barkley, Sanchez,
Hayden. You know, going back to Paul McDonald. I mean, Rodney Peete,
Palmer's.
Yeah, Palmer. That's an incredible
Johnson.
Yeah, that's an incredible stat. 515 yards, a single season record. He's the first quarterback to throw for over 400 yards 3 games in a row. Completed 75% or 78% of his passes. That's another freshman record. 3,200 yards.
I think that's the one thing that a lot of people need to talk. I mean, the kid's accurate.
Mm-hmm.
He's very accurate. He
is,
and he's young, and I just think it's going to get better. I mean, obviously, he understands the offensive coordinator's philosophy, and he does very well with that. I'll tell you though, he's getting hit a lot in the head.
He is,
and I get a little scared. I mean, he went down that one time, and I'm like, here we go.
Yeah,
again.
I thought he was going out there.
I thought he was
concussion.
done, right? And ends up, but thank goodness they had a big enough lead where Fink could go in and see. Helton just looked at me and him and said, "You just need to chill out for a little bit here." But that's you got to protect that quarterback.
Well, he doesn't.
He doesn't need me going outside the pocket and start trying to run. That's not going to help either. But he is very accurate, and so if you have receivers that can run good routes, and I think they need to get a better tight end. So, but yeah, I think he's got me being a believer because I always thought JT Daniels coming back, and I mean I'll tell you right now, if JT Daniels stays, that's the best sales job in the world.
Yeah,
I mean I don't see this kid going second fiddle.
No.
So,
but if Helton's there, that's his boy.
Helton said a long time ago he's probably changed his tune. He said, "No, my quarterback's not going to lose his job because he was injured."
Yeah, and he loves Helton. That was the whole thing with him and Sears last year, where I guess players came in and talked with Helton and said, we might need to make a change at the quarterback position. He's like, "Sorry, Daniels is my guy." So that's where I'm kind of like,
you're going to tell me after watching this whole season that you're going to switch it up. Let alone, we talked about this earlier. The guy wanted to start. The offensive coordinator wanted to start Slovis.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. This kid's an incoming freshman. JT's our guy. And then JT goes down, and now it's a perfect storm where this guy got hit the way he wanted it. And so here he comes, and he gets the job, and he's proving Helton that this kid is the future.
Yep.
So, I started thinking about where in the Pac-12 Daniels could go start.
Oregon?
Well, that kid's,
is he a senior?
That's right. Nobody can
he's
go.
Going to draft, yeah.
He can go, right?
He can
go, yeah, and he probably will go.
That's a tough thing. That's a tough thing for Daniels. Here, he graduates a year early to come to USC to start working out in the spring, and all of a sudden you're carrying a clipboard.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to be able.
He was almost damn near 20 years old too, graduating high school as well.
Right.
So that's another thing too.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was
late bloomer.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead.
Oh no, I got nothing.
Say the thing too was that they had 4 receivers who all had over 100 yards receiving.
Yeah.
Drake London, Mike, of course, Pittman, of course, and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyler Vaughns.
Yeah,
all had over 100 yards.
About Brown and Pittman leaving. That's the one that.
Yeah.
But is Brown's only a sophomore?
Sophomore,
right?
Yeah.
I think he needs another year. Kid Pittman could be going the top of the draft.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good. But I hear there's a lot of receivers. So.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, the fact that they've got, the cupboard's empty on the recruits. I mean,
yeah, no,
that's not a good sign.
No. You're just hoping now with your 2 weeks off that you're going to these final games and trying to get as much as you can out of them. That if nobody's ever, has never signed on the dotted line yet. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Helton and the offense coordinator were at this game Friday night.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They should be.
There'll be a lot of college coaches at that game.
Yeah.
All right. Almost forgot to mention it was 52-35. The Trojans beat the Bruins. Thompson Robinson had a pretty good game that was pushed to the back pages. 26 out of 44 for 367 and 3 TDs. Nothing to shake your.
He looked good.
He did well.
I'll tell you. I mean, I was very impressed with both tight ends for UCLA, and that's one kid from Mater Dei and the other kid's from De La Salle up north. They were open all the time. And I don't know if this is them getting open and knowing how to run the routes, or USC just let him go. But I mean, I don't know if you want to go get into that whole New England type of offense back in the day when they had 2 tight ends that could catch the ball. But they need to use both of those guys consistently because they catch the football.
Yeah, they do.
And the other thing that I noticed that is what I think opened up the offense is Thompson Robinson is running the football.
Yeah.
And when he runs
And
the
he can
football,
run.
right.
He can run.
And let's go back to Chip Kelly's old offenses, right? Quarterbacks ran, right?
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if Chip said run, if nothing's, or he just decided to start running, but he can expose the defense that way, right? And if they're now thinking that, wow, we got a quarterback with run, we got to worry about that opens up a lot. And he can throw off the run a little bit too. So I think that's something that they need to, keep doing. Obviously don't go get your head taken off, but I think by letting him run more, it's actually opening up the offense a little bit, So those are the 2 things that I mean, other than the defense is not good, but other than just the tight ends were open all day long, and him running the football was a way to open up that whole offense.
Yeah, he's getting better each week too.
Yeah.
I mean, especially I know there were some runs on Saturday where he got sacked, but if he just took off just a split second earlier, it could have been a 30-yard gain.
Right.
I mean, he was but he looks like a guy that's promising right now. I mean, so
He's
we'll
certainly
see.
he's certainly not as good as, but he reminds me a lot of Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
The way Russell Wilson will take a look and go.
Yeah.
You
And I think he'll get there. I think time will come with that. But, I mean, I thought how, USC would answer, then UCLA, especially in the second half, would come back and answer again. I thought that was, showed some huevos, especially that 4th and 17 play where, I mean, dude almost got sacked and, found one of the tight ends open. I was like, wow, okay, that's a good play right there for him. And, but, they're still young and, inexperienced, so times
Well, you know what? This whole 85, I got 85 freshmen and sophomores. Well, now next year you have 85 sophomores and juniors. No excuses.
Exactly.
You've got 3 years now with your guys. So
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's about what we were going to give him, wasn't it? By the 3rd year, he ought to put a winning team out there. Let's talk about the disaster that occurred last night at the Coliseum. I don't think the Rams were nearly as good as all of us were led to believe that they were going to be. A lot of holes on that offensive line. Well, they lost what? They lost Safford. Safford signed with somebody else. And that Hervenstein is injured. Their offensive line is just a disaster. No holes for Gurley, no protection for Goff. They've got some rebuilding to do.
Well, I'd rather talk about the impressive Baltimore Ravens than I would the actual Rams.
They're for real.
They're for real, and I think the game this weekend is against San Francisco is going to be, kind of like a pre-Super Bowl almost type of deal. But it was ugly from the beginning. It was pure domination from the very beginning, and I think we got to look at more at patting the back of Ozzie Newsome, who kept trading down to get Lamar Jackson and trading and getting more of some better opportunities for future picks, and letting hiring a offensive coordinator that understands what Lamar Jackson needs and how the offense should be run. And I look at it by saying, Greg Roman has done a phenomenal job by taking that job and probably going back to the Louisville days and saying, wow, how can we expose pro defenses with the actual weapons that we have? And obviously it took a little bit, but that's John Harbaugh understanding that and letting this kid go and letting him do his things and keeping. I mean, last night Jackson looked so relaxed. He couldn't do anything wrong, right? He threw the ball on the run. He ran for a lot of yards. He threw the ball deep. His receivers got the football. And you're getting that defense is it's like the old Baltimore type of defense, right? Where they didn't even score, you know. So I look at it this way: is that is a contender to win the Super Bowl,
Oh, yeah.
and I think these defensive coordinators got really their hands full, and I tell you why. It's hard for them to find somebody to play the role of Lamar Jackson in practice.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard. And then it's, kudos to them. They went out and got, Griffin III, which is a guy that has the same type of attributes, just a little bit slower and older. But they're not missing really, they're probably missing a little bit of explosive plays, but it's a guy that is out of the same mold, right? So I'm really impressed with what they've done, and it was complete. I wish Vince was here because it was, but it was complete domination and embarrassment, and it really is telling us that the Rams are not what they were last year.
No, they're a ways away.
Ways away. And Peters is loving it.
Yeah.
And he chimed in with Ramsey a little bit on the way out.
Yep.
But
especially too with the Rams, they have all their stars locked up.
Yeah. I mean, and they've and here's the deal, they've spent a lot of money, and it is what it is. I mean, there's not a lot they can go get.
No.
And now you're going to put that team to open up that brand new stadium.
Yeah.
And they're struggling. Like, I don't know if everybody's figured out what McVay does, and he was a mystery. And is this going to be the same thing next year?
Could be.
Is everybody going to figure out how to defend Jackson? Because there was times last year Jackson was hesitant to throw the football, right? So, it's not good in LA.
No.
Both sides, like the Chargers and the Rams. It's not good. Chargers had a great victory this week. Not playing on Sunday.
No, they beat Bye again.
They beat Bye again.
Close though.
But we made a field goal to win at the end. But that was very, very impressive last night. And it really, that defense was on the field a lot, and it got exposed. And that was. I'm curious to see how they're going to come out of that. I think they have a pretty good, easy game the next.
Arizona next week.
Oh.
In Arizona.
Yeah, that's not an easy game.
That's not an easy game anymore.
Nope.
Especially, too, when you look at that division. I mean, the Niners are not going anywhere. Seahawks, everybody thought were going to, kind of fall apart and kind of rebuild, but, they've almost kind of just reloaded with the whole Clowney situation.
Right.
Cardinals are up and coming again with, I think Kyler Murray and this Kingsbury thing this duo is working somehow. But, look at, some of the throws that Goff was missing last night were those are unacceptable. You can't miss those type of throws if you're a big-time QB.
We've talked about this, right? If he runs into a really good defense, he's not good.
Yeah.
He only exposes bad defenses. That's the only way he feels comfortable. But, he got his butt kicked in San Francisco, against San Francisco. He got his butt kicks against Baltimore. These are good defenses.
Yeah.
And he's he's not that good when it comes to that, being exposed by good defensive lines and guys that are covering his receivers and not having Cooks, right? He doesn't have that explosive guy. Did Cooks play? I'm sorry, did Cooks play last night?
I watched a little bit, not very much.
No, yeah.
So,
I don't think
they don't have that guy can beat them deep, and so
they don't have a lot of draft picks, do they?
No, they got rid of them.
They got rid of them all.
So I'm curious to see what they kind of do in the offseason, but I know they're a wild card. They're wild for the wild card, but the way that they still got to play Seattle, they still got to play San Francisco.
That's not going to happen.
I don't see it happening.
No.
So, and this was just a perfect example of, hey, look at if you ever want to know what a Super Bowl team looks like, you just saw it. So.
Well, they got booed at the end. They're going
yeah,
as they should.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch a lot of it, but I did. What was the crowd like? Was it more? Did you hear was it 50-50? Was it more Rams fans?
I would say more Ram fans, to be honest with you.
So. I don't think Baltimore travels that well. Not like Green Bay or Pittsburgh or Oakland.
San Francisco.
The Raiders, who were talking about the playoffs, lose to the Jets 34-3.
Yeah, not anymore.
I think that's bye-bye wild card.
Yeah,
that doesn't.
I'll tell you one thing about the Raiders, right? They've traveled a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say a lot like to the East Coast and London, you know.
They were gone for a full month and a half.
They were gone. They're gone a lot. And then you could tell that game was they're spent.
Mm-hmm.
They're spent. And you know, now they need to come home for a couple games to get back on their feet. But that was a you know, crossing, going back and forth, East Coast, you know, London, East. I mean, it's just a long time on an airplane, and I have a feeling that was one of the big things. You know, defense in the Jets is pretty good. They made Sam Darnold look great.
Yep.
You know, and now watch the Jets. I mean, they could go on a 5-game winning streak. If they have, I think they have Miami, they have Cincinnati, they have like some weak teams coming in. So, you know, that could be a little flip of the switch there. And but I think the Raiders are they're getting what they can out of their team. I see them more being a contender next year than they are this year. But I think the $100,000 question there is Carr going to be back? You know, so who knows? So
all right, let's switch gears here and talk a little bit about the Lakers. The game last night. Excuse me, but is LeBron 35 or 25? Did you see that fourth quarter?
Mm-hmm.
He was either scored or assisted on the first 21 points after he came into the fourth quarter. When he came in, he assisted or made the first 21 points. He leads the league in assists, for criminy sakes, 11 a game. This guy has discovered the fountain of youth. Not that he had sunk.
I'm going to be negative Nelly here, so if you got anything positive,
I got nothing
go
positive,
ahead,
to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I got nothing positive.
I'll tell you this much. This is exactly what the NBA wanted.
Oh.
They wanted a big town team like LA to be these 12-2s or 12-3s or whatever. But let's just break the whole thing down, right? They have played 5 teams that have a winning record.
Yeah,
they've lost to 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
And the other 3 that beat them, that they beat were the Jazz, Dallas, and Miami. Okay, They lost to the Clippers and they lost to Toronto.
Right.
So there it is. Like, you should be 12-2.
Yeah,
right. With that squad, right? So. But you're actually 3-2 against teams with winning records, right? So, and their next 3 games are New Orleans, who's 6-11, Washington, who's 5-9,
right,
and Orlando, who's 6-10. They don't see anybody until December 3rd, and that's the Denver Nuggets.
That's a back-to-back.
Who are 12-3. And then they play the 4th against the Utah Jazz. So that's where they're going to show me if they're the real deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And because, yes, and some of these teams, they're taking it to overtime. They're winning in the fourth quarter. They're winning in the last 2 minutes. Like, they're struggling to get these victories.
Well,
and you got to
OKC
give it to
too.
them. They're playing good on the road. Like, it's not, and they just do pretty good travel. Like, they just went and played 4 or 5 games on the road, right? And they've done well. But again, when you start playing against these teams like Milwaukee, who beat the Clippers, you know, these teams, like, it's the same thing with the Clippers, right? The Clippers have lost to Milwaukee, Utah, and Phoenix. Phoenix is scrappy.
Yeah.
Phoenix is a team that they beat, that the Lakers beat, but they're
they lost to Houston.
They're 8-8, right? So, but they're scrappy. They can.
Oh yeah.
You know,
This is without
Phoenix
DeAndre
was winning
Ayton,
that
too.
game a majority of the time too. But so that's. You know, I need to see more here. I mean, what's great is it's a confidence builder, right? They're playing good basketball.
Playing well.
I think they've accepted the coaching philosophy. I think that's great. John, I think we're going to talk about it until we're blue in the ears. But he has to hit 3-pointers. LeBron has to hit 3-pointers for this team to win, because the other Green can't do it all by himself, right?
No.
So. I don't know. I'm Debbie Downer. I'm like, yeah, they should be 12-3. You know, they haven't played really anybody that's really worth anything, and I'll kind of see how this back-to-back and from Denver to Utah goes.
That's going to be the real test.
I think you guys know who I'm going to take.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
Call your bookie and see what the points are.
I can't wait for it to get open.
Bet the mortgage.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, December 3rd, I'm going to be up at 5 in the morning going. So.
Yeah, their schedules. The Clippers have played Houston twice too. Houston's 11-4 or 11-5.
I think the Clippers is a totally different thing because their whole philosophy on this, sitting players is a totally different thing, right? Mm-hmm. Where the Lakers aren't thinking that.
No.
Right? So, I gotta, the whole Clippers situation is, how do they do the load management? Is the load management only going against teams that are below 500? I mean, are you going to do a load management against the Celtics or Denver or Utah or something like that? Like that's what you got to look into. But if I'm the Lakers and I'm going against teams like, Memphis, who's 3-9, or they almost lost to Memphis actually in Memphis. But these teams that are Golden State, how do you not rest these guys? How do you not rest them and say, if I can't beat you with my 1 star, right, and say, Davis, you're down this game, or LeBron, you're down this game, and we're gonna just, then you don't have any depth, right? That's where I think the Clippers believe in their depth. Mm-hmm. They have the best bench in the league.
They have the best bench.
They did that last year with no big name, right?
Yep.
So I kind of see. Them being a team that is, and they beat the Lakers, right?
Yep.
I think they're the team to beat.
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to, when it comes to crunch time at big games, their guys are going to be prepared. They're going to be rested. And again, I think we've talked about this in the NBA and the commissioner getting involved here because, it's Saturday morning and they, the Lakers are playing Golden State or whatever. They want the names to be playing. And
exactly.
I'm sorry, but
well, it'll be interesting to see
San
what
Antonio was known for it, right?
They started.
They started the whole thing. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see what he does with Denver and Utah back to back. What Vogel does as far as sitting guys and restricting minutes.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know what the date is against Orlando and Washington, but I mean, how do you not possibly sit one of those guys there, right, and get them rested for these back-to-back games that are big? So. You could sit one against Washington, who's 5-9, sit the other one that's against Orlando at 6-10, and just make sure that they're,
Exactly.
But the guy is, LeBron's phenomenal. He's the best player in the league. I mean, he played well last night. Yeah, he did. But let me get back to it. So, 2 games ago, I think it was against Memphis. Like you have the lead, I think by 1 or 2, and you have a good. You take the ball in and you're taking it down with I think like 20 seconds left or something like that, and he just pulls up and shoots a 3. You're like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Like drive to the basket, get fouled.
Exactly.
Like there's some things like you're not a 3-point shooter. Mm-hmm. You're a drive to the guy, get fouled, bowl people over. And he just shoots a 3 and gives Memphis an opportunity to win the ball game. Like it was stupid. It's like bad decisions. So those kind of things I was watching it with some friends. I'm like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? Like you're best player in the league. Go to the rim.
Go inside and at least get fouled.
Yeah.
Or dish it off. He's leading in assists.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. Dish it off, right?
It's true though. Their schedule is very soft though.
It has been.
All these Lakers.
Yeah,
they haven't played anybody.
They played anybody.
Yeah,
They've lost to 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't played Dallas. Dallas is leading that division now.
They beat Dallas.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they beat Dallas.
In
they beat them on the first time.
In overtime.
Yeah, that's right.
Dallas blew that lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Dallas is like, Dallas, the Jazz, and Miami are their 3 wins over the winning records. Miami has a pretty good record. I can pull this stuff up if you want.
11-4 or something.
Yeah, and then.
Yeah, their schedule's been soft. What if that was intentional? Of course, a computer allegedly does the schedules.
But the Dallas is 11-5.
Right.
The Jazz are 11-6, and Miami.
What about Denver? too.
Denver's 12-3.
Yeah, I got Denver. That's
Miami is 12-4.
okay.
Which, when I looked that up this afternoon, I'm like, Miami's 12-4.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
guess at the East, and the Raptors they lost to 12-4,
Right.
and the Clippers are like them. The Clippers are 12-5. So their losses, to Toronto and to the Clippers. But again, I'm a wait and see guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if anybody cares, DeMarcus Cousins,
Yeah, I didn't even know where that was. What that was all about.
third-degree sexual harassment charges were dropped and the case was dismissed. Why is that a story? I mean, who cares?
It's L.A.
Yeah.
It's L.A.
And I think this happened, honestly, in the summertime? Or
quite.
last year, and now all of a sudden it's going to get, I don't know. I just felt like there was really nothing there.
It's nothing that, if he wasn't with the Lakers, you never would have seen it in the paper.
Right.
A little shout out to our local Chapman College or University Panther football team.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
9-0, their first undefeated season in history.
So what are they in football? Is it Division
3?
I think it's Division 3. First perfect season, first perfect 9-0, and their first Division 3 playoff game that they have hosted.
And now they got to go to Minnesota or something
Yeah,
like that.
they beat Linfield. They beat Linfield 68-65 in triple overtime.
Wow, there's some good.
Hopefully the over.
Pendergrass should go there.
But they've lost to Linfield first time they've ever beaten them. But that's good. They go to Collegeville, Minnesota to play St. John's, who's 10-1. So I think a local team we should give them at least a shout out. Anybody want to talk about the battle for the basement in the NHL? Kings, Ducks?
I don't think it's. I was just looking again this morning. I think the Western Conference is going to honestly probably be till the last week of the season. It's so tight right now.
It's still close.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think the Kings are only 5 points behind Vegas or whoever's in the wild card, Colorado, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just. I don't know. Ducks got a big win last night to kind of, get the morale going after blowing a 4-0 lead in Florida. That was good. Kings, lost a tough one to San Jose. San Jose is kind of interesting because, they're kind of in that Kings scenario where, they're old, but they have the goaltending to kind of, keep him through. And Martin Jones is, just still a, stud, and so is Quick. But one thing I do actually kind of want to complain about, Duck fans really need to relax about Bob Murray, excuse me. Everyone's talking about how, that he needs to be fired, and, especially
Head coach.
No, the general manager.
General manager.
Oh, sorry.
And how, he does, it's like, if you look at what this guy's done the last 10 to 15 years, just wait and see, guys. It's a new, new manager, new philosophy. Everything's going to be okay. No, we're not trading Gibson. No, I don't know.
It's a little early to start panicking.
Yeah, especially when you knew coming into the season we were going to be young.
Well, they had a nice win last night against Ireland.
Yeah.
The Islanders are a good team this year.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I saw some comments on one of the social media websites, and I'm just like, okay, I got to say something. This is stupid.
Well, if you're bringing in a brand new coach, you need to be patient with the whole thing. So,
who's done a hell of a job up to this point so far?
He'll figure it out.
Yeah. Plus, you're weaving the youth with the veterans together, and that's going to take time.
Hey, look, if I think they make the playoffs, that's great, and they have a chance to do that. The problem is the West is beating up the West.
Yeah, the West,
and they need to go play against a bunch of the East and kind of get those points back.
Seriously.
But the West is not easy, and especially where we are, with San Jose and Vegas, it's a tough division,
And then next year, I think we get Seattle, and then the Coyotes move to the Central.
Central.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering who we're going to lose in that draft.
Jeez. You can only lose one player.
It's just one.
It's just one. Yeah.
Okay.
This one's they're not cherry picking like Vegas did. I'm sorry.
No.
They're not going to be able to do that. Happen. Yeah, thank God.
Anything on the Hot Stove League?
I I just saw a thing from the Bleacher Report that just came out and says the Angels are going to pay Cole whatever he wants.
Yeah, I just saw that. They were going to open up everything.
I heard they're going to open it all up. But, I was thinking the other day, is Chapman in Oakland a free agent, or can he, or has he done his 4 years?
Well, the
No,
third
he's
baseman?
still on club control
Oh,
for
is he?
another
Okay.
2, I want to say.
2. Yeah, so I just saw that come across my Bleacher Report that the Angels, I don't know who's saying it, but they're wanting to give him whatever he wants.
I heard it was 7 for 240, 245.
Yeah, it was 240. Yeah.
5 for 7.
And then the Yankees, I think, were going to match that. It was something like that. Or the Yankees were going to offer, I think, 7 for 260. And then Boris's team came out and said, "Oh no, it could be upwards to 3," which I don't think it's
Is that
going to
a-
be.
is that a
Boris
good-
always does.
Yeah.
Is that really a good idea? I mean, what you got a lot of holes.
No, I
Yeah,
agree.
no, you do.
I mean,
I don't. John, I guess I have to see the sheet first before I say that. If I can go get 2 for 1, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you don't. I mean, I guess Ohtani just started throwing today. He's been released to pitch.
He's not running, though.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing where I'm a little hesitant because I think they're keeping. I think there's more to that, but we'll wait and see. He's
So-
not running at 100%, which I
Right,
should
yeah.
say.
But I guess, John, I think for us to really comment on that, I think we need to maybe put it on the list for the next one is, talk about a segment of what free agents are available with pitchers right now, and then I can probably make a better judgment on it. But right now, I mean, I would pay the guy that. I mean, he's young still, but again, it goes down to what the Angels are known for: giving guys huge contracts, and the last three years of their contract is horrendous, right? So I don't know. I mean, I would really have to do my math and see and look and research and see how many guys that have signed 7-year deals actually pitched great for 6.
Zach Wheeler's not a bad pitcher,
No,
and he would come in a lot cheaper.
he would. Zach Wheeler.
Yeah.
But I would honestly, I would go all in for Cole. I think that's one in a generation type of pitcher right there. But I wouldn't trade the farm either. Like I saw some, scenarios where, to go get Noah Syndergaard, we'd have to get rid of Adele and Haney and all. It's like, no. And plus, Angel fans, I'm sorry, but those aren't top prospects. The Mets want top prospects.
Right.
And so I think and especially because there's going to be a lot of money coming off the books. Upton's almost done. Pujols is almost done. Yeah. So I feel like if you get these little pieces and kind of keep the farm intact, even though I know it's not great, then that's when I think you can open and just start spending. But
and by the way, I know we didn't talk about it, but Cole got robbed. I think he should have been the Cy Young.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Just because Verlander threw a no.
Yeah.
His numbers in the post were terrible.
Yeah.
I thought Cole should have. That run that he had from like May to
Never
September.
lost a game.
Yeah, I mean, it was insane.
29-0.
Yeah, I think he got robbed. And then DeGrom won it on the national, and that guy deals.
Yeah. But that's what I think. I think they gotta go and at least show the fan base, hey, like we're not messing.
Well, show Trout too. I mean,
show Trout. That's the biggest thing.
So if we're on baseball, right, and we got a couple minutes, what is your guys' thought about this whole Houston thing?
I've got a couple of thoughts on that. I think what they did, I don't think you can't have a camera in center field stealing signs, relaying it to the dugout, who relays it to the batter.
I thought the only camera you could have was the TV camera from the syndication.
Yeah.
I didn't think you could have your own personal camera.
Yeah, true.
As far as, they've been stealing signs on the diamond,
Which is fine.
Which is fine from year one. The guy at second base can figure out where the catcher's going to set up for. That's fine. If you can steal the third base's coach,
that's your fault.
Yeah, you better get better signs.
Change it up, yeah.
I have no problem with that, but I think the technology that's.
Yeah, I think they got to take iPads out of the dugouts.
Yeah, Boston a couple of years ago, the
Apple Watches.
Yeah, that I don't think that's over the line.
Yeah, I think they got to drop the hammer. I think get rid of prospects, draft picks.
So you're saying that the Dodgers should be world champions?
No.
Oh, okay. But it's only at home games, correct?
Home games, yeah.
Yeah, only at home games.
Yeah, they pounded what's his name in Dodger Stadium, so that.
Yeah.
Darvish.
Darvish.
Yeah.
But I don't think because technology is just going out of control. I mean, what's going to happen next?
I know.
I mean, I don't. What sort of punishment should they have? Draft picks, or what can you do?
I think
Well,
Fire. I don't know what you can do.
That's a good point. Like, or do you say you can't make the playoffs, right? Even though you win, you can't make the playoffs. Like, you have to sit out a year. I don't know.
I heard that 2-year ban thing. Yeah, that was something
was
they
a
were
2-year
talking
deal,
about. Yeah,
right?
that's what they were talking about.
2-year playoff ban.
Mm-hmm.
That would be hard. That would be
Angels
good.
have
Good
a
for the
chance.
Angels.
Angels
Yeah.
have a chance.
Angels got a chance now.
And did you think that Mike Trout deserved the MVP and not Bregman?
Yeah.
Okay.
I still believe that. I think we talked about this earlier. There should
Well,
be.
of course Bregman doesn't. He's cheating. Half his games. He knew what the hell was coming. I don't know. I'm just joking.
Plus, I think Houston would win a fair amount of games if he wasn't in the lineup. I mean,
Yes.
they've got a ton of arsenal there.
Yeah.
But I still think we ought to have a most valuable player award and a best player award.
Right. Yeah.
Trout
Who is
would-
the most valuable for
who's
their
the
team?
best?
Yeah. who's the
because
best,
it's hard to argue for Trout. I mean, he had a great season. He's the best player in the game. But what? So the Angels lost 91. What would they have lost? What? Not 95 if he wasn't in there.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
And
I'm glad he won the award because he's been screwed twice.
Yes.
But he's the best player in the game. I don't know how you're judging the award.
Well, and Bregman had a chance too. The end of September when Trout wasn't playing, and in the postseason to kind of solidify making the MVP, and he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, postseason doesn't count.
No, but I mean, just
Oh yeah,
You
just at
still
least
watching
show
it, though.
it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
I know that when you go to do it, it's but you're watching exactly what's
well, your
going on.
ballots are in before the playoffs
Yeah.
start.
Oh, the ballots are. Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah, but still,
Did
he.
you ever get to vote?
What's that?
Did you ever?
I
get to
did.
vote? You did.
Yeah, I voted the way it was when I
When
was.
you voted, did your guys who you voted on get in? No. That guy gave me a nice quote one day.
Don't worry,
I'm gonna give it to
the
him.
Angels had nobody
Yeah.
to vote for.
Bobby Gridge.
Yeah, we did we would switch off. We would do the I think the manager of the year and the MVP one year, and then the rookie of the year and the
Oh, okay.
Cy Young the other year. Would kind
Okay.
of back and forth. But the Angels were never in contention for.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I did. I think Nolan Ryan one year.
Yeah. Did you?
He should have won the Cy Young the year that Palmer won it.
Okay.
He had. I think he had 300. That's when he broke the strikeout record. 373.
yeah.
Had 2 no-hitters.
Wow. And he didn't win.
And won 21 games.
And he didn't win.
No.
You got to be kidding me.
Jim
That would be an
Palmer-
automatic nowadays, right?
Jim Palmer won 22 games, and Baltimore I think was in the playoffs.
Oh. Okay.
I did Baltimore win the World Series that
They
year. I
might
think
have.
that's why I think they gave it.
They
That was
might
back
have.
the days with Singleton and was it Eddie Murray and those years, or is it? Or am I thinking more
earlier.
like Brooks Robinson?
No.
I think it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Belanger. Yeah.
We got any golf or anything going on, John?
It's the end of, more or less, it's all done. I voiced my opinion on Tiger. Now it's just kind of the fun stuff. Tiger has his event. Justin Rose has his event. Some of the guys go play. Ricky Fowler will be replacing.
Yeah, I saw that.
Brooks Koepka, who's not is under some pain. He's trying to get some pain relief. Fix, I think, a knee. I think it's a knee situation. So Ricky will be.
Oh, what's that?
Ricky will be taking his position. I think Ricky got lucky there because he hasn't been playing too much. But other than that, that's, I think, second week of December. It is the President's Cup in Australia. Royal Melbourne, great golf course.
Yeah.
But that's about it. And, another rookie won this last weekend, or a first-time winner at the McGladrey down in RSM down in Sea Island, Georgia. Won in a playoff. But other than that, the season's pretty much done, and I think they look, looking towards January now.
Till the first of the year, yeah.
First of the year, yeah, with the tournament champions in
Hawaii?
Maui, and then Hawaii starts in second week of January. So that's it.
Well, we are way early tonight, but I don't really have anything else on the menu. You guys think of anything that you want to throw out there?
No. It's what happens at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Not a lot to talk about.
Well, it's getting into
Especially the winter meetings, too. I mean, I've been watching MLB Network, and it's been just nothing.
Yeah.
And they're even saying, like, the winter meetings that's happening in San Diego in a couple weeks is still, it might be radio silence, too. Like, nothing till first of the year when guys are going to start, making moves. So
why do they take so long to start their negotiations on free agency?
I don't know. I think it's something with the Players Association. I have no idea. That's something that I've always never really understood.
If I was a player, I want to get it done now.
For the holidays,
right now, yeah.
Figure out where we're going to have Thanksgiving.
Exactly. Get a new house.
Yeah. Not sign halfway through April and be like, oh, hey, by the way, we're going to, Texas. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I hope, the Angels do something. I know Trout kind of came out and said that, he wants to check his phone one day and see that the Angels acquired somebody. So
well, he says he'll go out and recruit,
He should, because general manager's not doing a great
How
job.
about, of course, they've blown the Musakis thing twice. Josh Danielson?
Donaldson?
Yeah, Donaldson.
He's probably I saw
He's 33.
rumor, I wouldn't touch him.
The kid from Washington's kid that
Rendon, yeah. Moustakis, I don't know. I've heard. Oh, that was the rumor that I've heard, that it'd be a package deal with Moustakis and Garrett Cole. I heard something like that, because you can get Moustakis on the cheap.
Yeah,
you can get him like a 2-3 year deal for cheap.
Yeah,
and then you can just go all in with Garrett Cole. That's what they were talking about, because they're both Boris guys.
You've got to get. I don't ever want to see Zach Kozart out there again.
No,
that's $39 million that they wasted.
Down the drain.
I love David Frazier, David Fletcher, but he's not a power. He's not a real power guy. Third base is supposed to be a power position.
He's a 2.0 version of Giavotella, which, sorry to say, Angel fans.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. All right. If we have nothing else, nothing on the screen there, Big John?
No.
We are out.
Peace. And happy Thanksgiving.
There you